Talk Show. Our next guest is Will of Amber Pacific. Thanks for coming by.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Have you guys done a Vans Warp Tour in the past?
Yeah, we've done the Warp Tour from I think it was '04 to '08, 4 years in a row.
Okay.
Might have been '05 to '08, one of those things. But yeah.
Well, then we need to get you guys back on. What about the Long Beach end of July dates?
If you have some contacts, let me know. We've been trying to hit up everybody that we can to get on that thing,
What
and we
about
just haven't.
Kevin? Can you slide in his
Yeah,
DMs?
we've talked to Kevin, loves what we're doing, but yeah, we just weren't offered the spot this year for any of the dates, and hopefully next year we'll get a swing at it, but we'll see. It looks like the turnout's been great and the shows are awesome, and the live streaming thing was cool. I was watching that from home, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was neat.
Yeah.
So how, because you guys have been around for so long, how have you guys stayed in the music industry? Have you had to transform and move and mold around, or have you got to kind of just stay the same?
We've mostly just stayed true to ourselves, stayed the same. There was a moment there where our genre of music kind of disappeared for a second, made just stepped aside for some other things that started coming up, like the Cobra Starships of the world and like more of the synthy like dance stuff that was happening in the late, 2009, 2010-ish area. So we kind of took a little bit of a break there, and then in 2014 we got back and put out another record, and then we've kind of just been slowly dipping into it every year from then on, till most recently in February we released our fifth full length. So yeah,
That's
back in it now.
exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
you're back in the game for reals.
Yep.
So are you guys ever coming out to Sacramento?
Um, we don't have anything on the books right now. For some reason, we keep on playing Texas. We've been playing Texas the whole bunch. This East Coast run that we just did was like the first time we've been out the East Coast in a long time. So I think California, Sacramento, all that stuff's probably next on the list for us to do. And I'm pretty sure the venue's not there anymore, but we used to love this venue called the Boardwalk in Sacramento.
Yeah. No, it's still there. It has a new
Still
owner.
there?
Yeah.
Perfect. They had one of the best sound guys, like in-house sound guys. His name was Claude. And
I
we
love how
just
you remember that.
it's special. I mean, like he treated us really well. I remember that. And he's just you don't have a lot of in-house guys that take their job super seriously, but he really did. He like took a lot of pride in how it sounded, and we always loved playing there because of him. So good little memory.
Nice. Yeah, we still have the Boardwalk, Ace of Spades. We have a new place called Channel 24. So there's a lot of venues in
Oh,
Sacramento. And
cool.
I love it because I lived in LA for a long time and it was such huge, it's kind of oversaturated. So I like how Sacramento is small city, but you get a higher quality and like a smaller venue, you can actually see the band and hear them better. Because you guys are from Washington, right?
Yeah, we're from Washington. Yep,
Are
that's
you
right.
still there?
Yeah, we're all mostly here. Our drummer lives in Nashville. He's like still full time, very much in music. So yeah, we're a little bit spread out, but mostly all around the same area.
So interesting that you guys go all the way from Washington to Texas a lot. I lived in Austin too for a year. And so, but I swear, Texas too, it's a good crowd. Like a lot of Houston, Dallas, Austin, you can hit a bunch of places that are not too far away. Do you have a favorite place to play in Texas?
They are all special in their own ways. I think Austin's like kind of like a music town, so it's fun to go through there. But like you said, like the cool thing about Texas is you can hit up all those cities within the same little run. So it's really convenient for a band like us who's kind of not doing the full-time touring thing in a bus, but we're flying out to these shows. Um, so when you can package them together like that, that makes it really cool and easy. And so yeah, we love all those cities. That's why we went back, and we'll continue to do that.
Yeah. So is it easier to write like emo pop punk songs when you're in the Pacific Northwest and it's overcast all the time?
No, honestly, the those songs come from mostly come from me when I'm out like working my real job, just off by myself, not around my family and stuff, like I have nothing else to do, so writing songs is when that happens.
Yeah. Doesn't it
Yep.
suck that a lot of us have real jobs? Like we have our fun jobs, and then there's like jobs that you want to make a ton of money and buy houses with sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, there you have to balance it all. I think we're all really happy where we're at with our individual personal lives and what we all do. And then with the music, being able to keep on making music and keep recording it and letting people listen to it, just that's been really special after, especially after this long, we don't take that for granted. So
Yeah. So what's a goal for 2025 that you guys want to accomplish as a band and get done?
A lot of our goals that we set up for ourselves had to deal around like a lot of the festivals and stuff. So we missed on some of those, like the Warp Tour when we were young. I don't think we're going to be part of this year. The Emo's Not Dead cruise was another thing we were shooting for. So there's some things that we've fallen short on this year, but we really want to, as a band, we really want to start traveling internationally and playing outside of the United States. That's something we never got to do when we were doing it full time. But there's still a market out there, and there's promoters out there who want to make that happen. So I think for next year, that's probably like our biggest thing is just trying to get out of the United States and doing some stuff overseas.
That's cool. I'm such a late 90s fan, and I was really excited when I saw Alien Ant Farm and CKY traveling overseas and selling out shows overseas when, like,
Yeah,
they had their biggest hits in the late 90s, early 2000s, and it's neat that that's all making a comeback now. That's really popular.
yeah, yeah. The crowds, from what I understand, talking like the Red Jumpsuit just went over there, Boys Like Girls just went over there. So like the bands that go out and do these things, like the response has been really, really good. And I think in the United States, we get a little bit spoiled with the amount of shows that we can go to in such as, just a small area. Like you're in Sacramento, there's bands and tours that go through there all the time. You guys have one of
Yeah.
those big, huge festivals coming up, or if it already happened, I don't know.
Aftershock Music Festival. So that's my Super Bowl, and I get to report backstage. And so I just can't wait because it's
Yes,
115 bands, and it is so fun
yes.
and so wild.
It's like you guys have that has a great lineup this year. So internationally, they don't have all those things, and I think that makes the shows probably more special. So.
So you guys have been in the background of a lot of TV, music videos, video games. What's one of your favorite guest spots that your music has been in?
Um, Geez, that has to be being on the I think it was Burnout 3 was the video game that we were on. I think forgot I think it was Always You Good Times Last Forever was a song that was on there. But at any rate, that video game really like helped propel our career into a next level of success. And it wasn't something that we knew was going to happen or expect, but the soundtrack to that game is great. And getting a chance to be on that thing like really shot us into just it just got us so much exposure that we probably wouldn't have had otherwise. So I would have to say that's probably like the most significant one in our past. Being on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles soundtrack was pretty cool too, though.
That's really neat. I love Ninja
Yeah,
Turtles. So do
it's a
my
it's a
kids.
toss up. It's a toss up.
Yeah. And so I feel like that was such a popular thing back in the day. I used to play motocross video games and Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Yeah.
Is that still happening now? Are they still asking bands and reaching out to put their music in the background of video games, or are they just creating their own music to save money?
No, I think they're still very much like interacting with bands for that, but I think the style of music was different. Like they kind of moved away from our genre and went into like the rap world for a little bit, and then some alternative stuff. And I think you're starting to see it circle back now. Like Tony Hawk's going to come out with a new game soon, and like they've been asking bands in the genre to submit for that. So I would imagine that will probably spark some newer bands probably that we haven't heard of or maybe aren't as familiar as some of the older names.
Yeah, rock and metal is making a comeback. I'm excited. I'm
For
here for
sure.
it. Can we play Who's Most Likely in the Band?
Sure.
Okay. Who's most likely in the band to get arrested?
That would be Dango, actually, our drummer, because he did get arrested.
So he's already done it. That's
No, it was a
good.
long,
Good
a
for
long
him.
time ago. It wasn't any fault of his own. It was in Philadelphia. The cops weren't happy, and they took it out on our band, unfortunately. So,
Yeah.
yeah, they
Hey,
actually put him in cuffs. It was crazy.
it happens. I've
It
been there.
happens. It happens.
Who would be most likely to hook up with a fan?
I would say back in our early days, more than half of us were in pretty serious relationships at the time. So I'm gonna say probably probably one of our merch guys that we had on the road at the time.
I love the merch guys do that. Who's most likely in the band to get too wasted?
Too wasted. Probably I would have to go with Matt, our singer. He's,
That's
he
good. You got to
likes he
have lead
likes to have a
singer
good
syndrome.
time. He likes to have a
Yeah.
good time. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Um, who's most likely to know what's going on around the world?
That's probably me because my job is to go around the world. So that is absolutely me.
I like it. Sometimes it's a blessing and a curse, right? To be up to date with news and current events.
It can, yeah, yeah. I think it's good to know what's going on.
Me too. Who is most likely to be late?
That would be that's a fun one. I think probably Dango, our drummer, or Justin. Yeah.
In the band, who is most likely to listen to death metal?
Ooh, I'd probably say me for that. Yeah,
Okay,
I like
cool.
my heavier stuff once in a while.
In the band, who is most likely to get married in Vegas?
Uh, Probably Justin back in the day because he was big weddings and stuff, just not something that he's super into. So yeah, I would say Justin probably, guitar player.
I like it.
Hmm.
Um, who is most likely to go vegan in the band?
Nobody. We have a horrible diet as a band. So vegan would never work for any of us because it'd just be way too hard.
Yeah. Who is most likely in the band to be afraid on a plane?
Um, So we've been playing some shows with some fill-in players for guitar and drums, and so our most recent fill-in, his name was Leo, on the drums, who's been a longtime friend of ours. He had some concerns about the flight that I had to like tell him like rest assured, since I that again that's what I do for a living. So I told him it was going to be fine, and he calmed down after that, so it was good.
I like it. And who is most likely to get lost after a show?
Mostly, that's Justin. Yeah, Justin likes to wander when he's on the phone, so he makes his phone calls and he'll be like 5 miles down the street. It's
I
crazy.
love it. Well, okay, so plug where to find you guys, what's happening for Amber Pacific. Let us know.
Yeah, so we just put out our fifth full-length record in February. Kind of pushing like a third single at the moment called The Conqueror. Put out a lyric video for it, so all that content's uploaded on our YouTube channel, which is Amber Pacific TV. And we're pretty active on Facebook and Instagram. So you could just type in, Amber Pacific to find us on those things, and that's where you're gonna get like the most up-to-date stuff. Right now, we're just looking to keep being out on the road and kind of behind the scenes working on some new material to get back into the studio probably in the fall or the winter time, and just stay ahead of the game in terms of releasing new music. And as long as people are willing to listen, we'll keep doing it.
Awesome. And we need you guys back on Vans Warped Tour. That's what
Oh
I
my
found out.
gosh, next year's got to be the year.
It's happening. I'll be
It's
down at Long
happening.
Beach. So I can't wait. It's been so long since I've interviewed at Vans. So
Yeah,
LBC in a
that's
couple
it.
weeks.
That's a good date. There's a lot of good bands on that one. So yeah, I might be there too, just not participating. That's all.
Well, hey, you get to have fun, drink, relax, hang out. So that's
That's
fun
right.
too.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not bad. Not bad.
Well, thank you, Will, so much for stopping by Steph's Rock Show.
Great thing. Thanks for having me.